favorite holiday?
I love every holiday.
What's your best Halloween costume?
One that you make with your 2 hands.
Your co-counsel was stabbed in the head. Do you worry about your safety?
Oh, honey, when we talk about drama colliding with class, this is it. On one side, you've got a fashion goddess gracing Vogue covers, dripping in couture and glam. On the other, a world-renowned human rights attorney and Amal Cloebee, who's not only slaying the courtroom, but also the fashion game. They're from 2 completely different worlds, yet they ended up crashing into each other like a high-speed collision. And no, sweetie, this wasn't your random celebrity catfight. This was deeper, dirtier, and trust me, nobody saw it coming. And guess what started it all? Not a scandalous affair, not a viral video, but a tiny little emoji. Yup, a flame emoji casually sitting on George Clooney's phone. At first glance, it seemed innocent, right? But was it? Amal brushed it off, probably rolling her eyes, but chilly. What she didn't know is that this was the opening scene of a blockbuster feud that would shake Hollywood and beyond. Let's rewind a bit for the uninitiated. Who exactly are we dealing with here? Amal Cloebee, the ultimate combo of brains, beauty, and billionaire hubby. She's a legal powerhouse representing the world's most high-profile cases and co-founder of the Clooney Foundation for Justice. Oh, and did I mention? She's graced multiple Vogue covers, but always with purpose, always tied to her activism. And Blake Lively, Hollywood sweetheart turned red carpet royalty. From Gossip Girl to box office queen, she's been stealing hearts left and right. But apparently, Blake wasn't satisfied just being Hollywood's golden girl. She wanted more. She wanted the power, the respect, the gravitas of someone like Amal. But Bobby, trying to fake your way into activism? That's a whole different game, and it backfired in ways that still have tongues wagging. It all spiraled when Blake, in what can only be described as a clumsy attempt at reinvention, tried to slip into Amal's lane. And we're not talking subtle inspiration. Oh no, Blake wanted Amal erased, like she could just Photoshop her out of existence and step into her shoes like a red carpet dress swap. She wanted the spotlight, the platform, the global credibility, but it wasn't hers to take.
Amal Clooney doesn't like talking about herself.
Stay until the end, y'all, because what Amal eventually dropped wasn't just a receipts moment, it exposed a whole pattern. And when she started unraveling that web, Blake's carefully crafted empire started collapsing. It all started with Blake's sneaky PR moves, trying to merge high fashion with activism, which had Amal written all over it. Vogue even did a fluffy little write-up, painting Blake as the new Hollywood's power wife, sliding her into that global activist narrative like she owned it. And the quote from Blake's PR team, Kile, it was giving copy-paste energy, talking about real-world issues, human rights, and international law. Sound familiar?
Ukraine is today a slaughterhouse, right in the heart of Europe.
Exactly, boo. That's Amal's signature, her voice, her life's work. And now Blake was out here parroting those same phrases like a karaoke version of Amal Clooney. Like, girl, are you starring in a biopic or something? Because that's the only excuse that would make sense. But it got worse. Blake didn't stop at just words. Oh no, she took her cosplay global. Blake shows up at an international peace summit, one where Amal was the keynote, and sis wasn't even invited. But somehow there she was, front row, wearing a cape gown almost identical to Amal's iconic look from the year before. And when reporters asked why she was there, Blake hit them with a smug, "I believe in standing beside women who actually change things," and didn't even name drop Amal. The audacity. But the stunts didn't stop there. Blake kept infiltrating rooms she had no business being in. At a private diplomatic dinner in London, typically closed off, no press, no glitz, just power players and thinkers, Amal had attended every year, but this year, her name was mysteriously off the guest list. And guess who was seated 2 seats from George Clooney? Yep, Miss Lively herself. Wearing Amal's signature dress code, she wasn't just attending, she was replacing.
Amal, how do you outdo yourself each and every year? I know George always uses the line, "Oh, I just whipped this."
At that moment, Amal didn't blow up anyone's phone, she didn't cause a scene, she just unfollowed 3 people connected to the event. And when asked weeks later about the industry blurring the lines between activism and performance, she delivered the most ice-cold, no-name read in history. Some women do the work, some perform it. Ouch. Blake, high off the fumes of her little victories, continued pushing her agenda. She even hijacked a keynote address typically given by Amal at a private women's roundtable, pitching herself as the speaker instead. And guess what? They let her, because sometimes the best way to expose a performer is to give them a live mic. And babes, Blake crashed and burned. Mispronounced acronyms, plagiarized quotes, and the worst, saying both sides deserve empathy at a human rights summit. Girl, what were you thinking? The backlash was instant. The internet tore her apart, calling her a TikTok therapist trying to play lawyer. And all the while, Amal sat back, watching it unravel without lifting a finger. And then came the moment where Blake really shot herself in the foot. Backstage, she got a little too comfortable, loudly telling a producer Amal's whole brand is built on silence. It's elegant, but not very effective. Girl, at a human rights event? That comment made its way into the event's internal transcript, which, of course, landed on Amal's desk. Did she clap back? Nah, she just forwarded it to a journalist. And within a week, The Atlantic dropped an article called Weaponized Elegance: How Silence Can Still Shatter a Room. The entire article didn't even mention Blake, but the subtext screamed Blake Lively. From that point on, darling, Blake's glamorous facade began crumbling like day-old mascara. Invitations started mysteriously disappearing, sponsorships got reevaluated, and a major summit even dropped a statement, "We believe in advocacy, not appropriation." No names were mentioned, but the message crystal clear. Amal never said a word publicly, yet suddenly her old interviews, her speeches, everything was being reshared like a vintage Dior revival. One clip went viral with the caption, "There's real work and there's rehearsed." And girl, you didn't need a name to know who was rehearsing. But here's where it went from bad to completely tragic for Blake. Remember that emotional viral clip of Amal helping a refugee child in a no-camera zone? The one that had haters whispering if it was staged? Yeah, the whispers turned into full-blown investigations. And when the metadata was traced, guess what? It didn't come from Amal's team or even the event organizers. No. It came from a third-party PR firm tied directly to Blake's brand rollout. Yes, sis, Blake's own PR firm leaked that video to the Daily Mail while launching her cosmetics line. The levels of mess, unbelievable. Nobody officially accused Blake. Amal didn't post a tweet or even issue a denial. She didn't need to. Blake's Sephora launch was quietly pulled. No press release, no apology, just vanished, like it was never there. And Amal? Oh, she delivered the most savage, lawyer-grade mic drop ever. At a UN event in Geneva, no glam squad, no Hollywood shine, just Amal in a black suit holding a crushed Blake Lively PR packet. No words, no shade thrown, just her standing alone, holding that packet like it was yesterday's garbage. And when that photo hit the internet, the caption wrote itself. She knows, and she's not playing anymore. Comment sections exploded. She brought receipts, literally. And Blake, her team had no response, no cute Instagram statement, no spin to put on this PR disaster, just silence. And yet Blake couldn't take the hint. She crashed an exclusive media summit panel titled Power and Poise, Redefining the Female Public Voice. Of course, Amal was there, but this time they didn't even make eye contact. Blake came in early, pink dress, PR smile, while Amal showed up late in all black, face bare, and served the ultimate cold shoulder. And when the moderator asked, how do women in the public eye protect their message when others try to borrow it, twist it, or sell it, Blake jumped in first, giving the most pageant perfect answer about women not needing to apologize for being seen. Cute, right? But then they turned to Amal. And sis, when I say Amal didn't even blink, she let a few seconds of icy silence hang in the air before calmly saying, the issue isn't being seen. It's using someone else's mirror to reflect your own light. Boom. That line, the internet lost its mind. That wasn't just shade, that was legal precedence disguised as elegance. Blake tried to smile through it, but the damage already done. By the next day, Blake had scrubbed all Summit posts from her socials, and The Guardian printed Amal's quote in full. But babes, the tea didn't stop brewing. An internal PR email thread leaked, revealing Blake's team literally coaching her to mirror Amal's speech patterns, dress code, and even steal her UN quote word for word. The document didn't say Blake or Amal explicitly, but sweetie, the internet connected the dots. It was a blueprint on how to copy Amal's entire brand, down to the tone of her voice. The fallout was immediate. Side-by-side comparison clips popped up everywhere, showing Blake parroting Amal's "quiet resistance isn't silence" quote in a Glamour UK interview. And while Amal remained silent, 2 days later at a Columbia lecture, she opened with this. I'm often asked if imitation is flattery. I think sometimes it's desperation disguised as admiration. No smiles, no explanations, just facts. And babes, the internet screamed. By April, Blake was done. Projects vanished, campaigns canceled, and behind the scenes, directives circulated. Avoid overlap with L's current positioning. Too derivative. Translation, if Amal's involved, Blake's out. And the final dagger, none other than George Clooney himself. At a low-key industry Q&A, someone asked if influence could be borrowed. George paused, smiled, and said, "Depends. Borrowed from who? If it's my wife, good luck surviving the interest rate." Ouch. The crowd laughed, but honey, Amal, she didn't even crack a smile. She just looked up, blinked once, and smirked like she already knew how the game was going to end. And end it did. Blake's supposed post-scandal comeback campaign canceled. And the campaign, oh, just a UN Women and Vogue storytelling campaign built by Amal herself. The irony? Chef's kiss. Amal never issued a statement. She never called out Blake. She never brought up the flirty midnight emoji or the copy-paste speeches. She didn't have to. Because women like Amal, they don't fight loud battles. They just make sure those stories never get told again. And the final twist of the knife? A confidential agency memo from the European Law Foundation, the same group that once hyped Blake's global storytelling initiative, now blacklisted her from all ethics-based campaigns. One line, brand identity compromised. Recommend disassociation. And just like that, Blake Lively vanished from 3 projects, her Vogue cover pulled, documentary cameo replaced, and her silence now permanent. No lawsuit, no public spat, no social media sob story, just Amal quietly standing in the room, letting the walls close in. Because this wasn't just a feud, darling, this was a lesson, a warning. And Blake? She heard it loud and clear. When the woman you're mimicking is used to dismantling dictatorships, maybe, just maybe, don't copy her slogan, her look, or her life's work. Because Amal doesn't play the Hollywood game, she plays the world game, and honey, she already won.